Okay, welcome to the Simple and Sinister Program. All of our titles are going to be on the side because iPhone can't use portrait mode, but that's the preferred way of seeing it. Make sure you're in a nice place with a lot of boxes, somewhere that you can lay all the way down, bring your arms all the way up and to the side, move everything out of the way. We're going to get into warm-ups here. First, the deep squat. Pause at the bottom, take a breath, go back up. From the side, we'll see how the technique looks. We're going to freeze here, see how the body is upright, the neck is pretty well neutral, the knee is behind the feet, and bring yourself back up. Do a couple more of those. Total of 5 reps per set there. And next we're going to get into halos. Pretty self-explanatory. It's going to be 5 on each side, clockwise and then counterclockwise. Turning just for emphasis. A couple more clockwise, then switch to counterclockwise. That's sped up, by the way. All right, do some hip bridges. You can do it boring with both hands, or you can reach over your shoulder, which is just going to be better for cross mobility. Use the opposite shoulder to base out. I always like doing those. Next, and don't use shoes with this. I prefer not have shoes, but these are windshield wipers. Use the back leg and then swing it forward. Back leg swings forward. Our first portion will be kettlebell swings. You'll do 10 sets of 10 reps, 100 total. Let's do some technique. So this is a deadlift. If you've done a barbell deadlift before, you'll see that the back should be mostly horizontal. The knees are not very bent, and you just pick it straight up. Your whole body should be tense, so even you see the shoulders are retracted there. So what this is not is a squat. So we did the squats earlier. They were good for warm-ups. This is not what we're going for. That's more upright. That's another type of movement. So let's see how that applies to actually making it dynamic. If you bring your arms back and there's enough momentum, this becomes a deadlift that's more dynamic. Compare that to the deadlift I just demonstrated. And that's a live view of an actual swing. Looks very similar to the deadlift demonstration. Flat back, knees are not very bent. This is not the right form right here. Look how early I'm bending my knees. It becomes a full squat. There's a lot of tension at the bottom, a lot of jostling going on. So, and compare that to the squat demonstration we just did. Very similar appearance there. All right, so that's how to not do it. And the real trick there is it's really timing. So if you wait and just pop it, then you're going to have that nice view there. All right, let's demonstrate here. So let's look at how to make this one-handed, which you'll want to do eventually. You don't want to keep that free hand stuck back because your shoulder's going to get messed up. So keep your hand with the other one. Bring your hand all the way back, all the way forward. The free hand is almost just as active as the gripping hand. Your shoulders are going to stay, pretty much level the whole way. Let's see that in action. Look how much that free hand is moving. It's ridiculous. But it helps a lot with the shoulder. Everything else is the same. Look at the same hinge shape there. From the front, we can see the other point to make with one-handed. With two hands, your hands can be, straight together, perfectly pronated. With one hand, it gets a little awkward. So what you're actually going to have is your hand is going to be hyperpronated at the bottom, thumb back, and then hypersupinated on the top, palm up. It's not that exaggerated, but you'll see how it feels a lot better. Thumb down, thumb up, thumb down, thumb up, thumb down. And that just kind of helps with the elbow itself. It just helps with the flow. And that's all of it for the swings. So the full program, remember, is 10 sets of 10 swings. You'll definitely start with the two-handed. Just emphasize the technique. At the end of each set, see how you feel. You can wait as long as you want until you feel like you're not out of breath before going to the next set. But ultimately, the goal is going to be 30 seconds per set times 10, so that's going to be 5 minutes total. From the moment you start the program to the moment the swings are over, that should take 5 minutes eventually. So start with the two-handed. When you feel comfortable, start phasing in the one-handed. Maybe do a two-handed and then left, right, two-handed, left, right, two-handed. And just kind of phase it in until you feel confident doing one-handed all the way. Once you're at that point, you'll consider moving up weight, but it does take a while. It'll take a couple months, so you'll be in good shape from there. It looks like we're set up in our space to start our Turkish get-up, so let's do our cool cutaway now, and I'll meet you at the other side. So Turkish get-up is really just an elaborate way to go from like fetal position to Statue of Liberty with arms over your head. It's easier to just show. So here's an unweighted rep. And you're going to reverse everything going back down. All right. What it is not is this. Let's get up really quick, just as fast as we can. Let's get down. Let's get all these reps. And what you'll notice is having this at an oblique angle through the window feels good. If you put it straight on like that, it torques your elbow back. It hurts your forearm. You're going to notice it. So if you have it in this nice oblique angle, you'll see you'll have a lot better time pressing. You'll have a lot better time in the rack clean position. It's good. Safety issue, make sure that the mat is not going to slide under you like this if you're on wood. It's best to be on carpet. So let's look at all of the positions all at once, and then we'll go back and review and break them down. So we'll line them up here. Starting on your back, starting position. Floor press is the first movement there. You're going to want to go on your elbows for step 2, on your elbow for step 2, to the hand for step 3. A bridge will be step 4. There it is. Onto the back knee for 5. In line for 6. There he is in line. And then standing up like Statue of Liberty for 7. Back to in line for 6. Still on the knees for 5. Bridge. There's 4. Hand for 3. Back to elbows at 2. And then number 1 is the floor press. All right, let's see the next rep on the left side. So starting on the back here. Press for 1. Elbow for 2. Hand for 3. Bridge for 4. Knee for 5. In line for 6. Stand up for 7. In line for 6. Knee for 5. Bridge for 4. Hand for 3. Elbow for 2. Press for 1. And back. And since you'll be bringing the bell to the other side, alternating sides, let's just show a few different options for that. One, you can load it on your shoulder, go flat on your back, use your triceps to bring it around, or load it on the other shoulder and reverse it. Or you could just do this. Yep. Let's get into the gritty details, breaking them down. So let's start with the first few steps, the floor press, going up to the elbow, and then later to the hand. This is a tough part, especially coming down can be tough. It's harder to reverse it exactly when you're going down. The important thing is to be controlled. So the major trick is actually that bent knee with the foot planted on the ground is going to be doing all the power. And you're going to be using your hips to bring everything up. Your weighted hand can cross the midline a little bit so that it's easier to push it up. Another important thing to think about is where your shoulders are. It's going to be racked back when you do the shoulder press, like this. Shoulders retracted. And then when you roll forward, it's going to be in line there. You still want it to be set back. You still want your shoulder blade to be set back a little bit. Again, so just trying to be steady. Try to picture a straight line from the elbow that's on the ground across the shoulder. So it should be as straight along as possible. Getting to our next steps here. And honestly, getting to your hand is not complicated. Once you've got on your elbow, just boop. The hard part is going to be bridging, using that right knee. Right hip should be extended. Picture almost a straight line from the knee to the left shoulder, right knee to left shoulder. You're just trying to create enough space so that left leg can go back. You want to make a nice bridge and it back. And you're going to land the left knee right where there's a nice triangle for you to have a good base. And that stamps when you put your knee back is a little hard to explain. So let's do another freeze frame here once we get to it. Going to restart from the beginning. Nice press. Use that right leg to push off. Nice on the elbow and then the hand. And here's the bridge. Pausing right here. Look how straight from right knee to left shoulder we are. Plenty of space. Pretty much right angle of the knee. Good. And then placing it right back there. So now the left knee is directly below the left hip. Right knee still right angle, and everything's lined up. And you're just enough to swivel that left knee so that you're in line. Everything's a right angle here. Look at that. And then continuing, just doing a lunge basically. Most of the weight should be loaded on the right leg. Show that again. So most of the weight on the right leg, but the left leg's pushing a little bit. And you're just going to keep everything in line. Remember to keep the shoulder depressed down so it's nice and stable. The leg below the kettlebell stays planted. The other one is loose and steps back. It's easier to forget than you would think once you actually achieve getting to the top. But just remember that fact there. Sometimes it's easy to remember. If you just go down to the rack position, it might be a little bit more steady and you can practice these lunges. I'll show you that one there. So once it's racked like this, it's a lot easier to step back and just do a lot of reps of this split squat. A little more steady. That way you can really just get that motion down if you'd like to. Eventually we'll talk about how to do it clean to get the kettlebell from the ground to your shoulders. But as a safety issue, if you're at the top of the Turkish get-up and you can't get your way down, just drop it to the rack position like that, and you should be able to get yourself to safety rather than trying to figure out how to do that. And lower it down. That's all the pointers I have for the Turkish get-up. We're going to go over an actual clean here. This is not part of Simple and Sinister, but for the sake of that safety and also just for knowledge on how kettlebells work, this will be a good one to go for. So, similar to the single-handed swings, we're showing that you want to have your thumb back when you're swinging up and then your thumb up when you're on the upswing. So this is just a single-handed swing, and we'll transition to a clean there. He's shaking his head because that's not that clean of a clean. I mean, it works. You're just doing a swing and then you're pulling up, doing a swing and then pulling up. A little more clean there. So that's one way to do it, kind of the hinge deadlift way, right? But that's pretty dynamic. Another way to do it is with the squat. So you can just go vertically up. This one's a little less stressful. So let's see how that goes. The same motion. Thumbs down, thumbs up. Thumbs down, thumbs up. And that's just a little bit more clean. And you're going to be landing your hand in that same rack position, that oblique position. That's really comfortable. There it is. Have that palm facing forward at the top. When you bring it back down, bring to the side. There you have it. Let's summarize. 3 times a week, hopefully. You'll do warm-ups for 5 minutes. Then you'll do 10 sets of 10 swings, progressing to one-handed. And then you'll finish off, after a 1-minute break, with 10 Turkish get-ups every minute on the minute. Go slower if you need to. I guess that's 21 minutes. I lied. Sorry to waste your time.